Hey friends, it's Paige Evans. Thanks so much for joining me here on my YouTube channel. Today I have a new process video to show you creating this snowflake background. I started with these two painterly papers from my Go the Scenic Route collection, one in pink and one in blue, and I used my Snowflakes cut file to cut an entire background of different sizes and shapes of snowflakes. I think it took about 10 minutes for maybe 10 to 20 minutes for the Cricut to cut all of these intricate snowflakes out, and then you want to carefully peel them off the mat. Sometimes the little inner pieces get stuck, so you have to take some time to get those out and then scrape off the inner pieces and then place the other pattern paper onto the mat and cut out another background of snowflakes. Again, peel off the outer piece, and I love how the outer piece looks. I'm definitely going to save that for a future project, maybe use it as a template to spritz mist through or scrape modeling paste through. So saving the outer piece and peeling off all of the inner snowflakes. I'm loving the pinks and blues. Next, I need to choose a background. Now, this is probably the hardest part for me, is deciding which background pattern paper or cardstock I want to use. I have an idea in my head, but getting the nitty-gritty details fine-tuned it's the fun part, and it's also the hard part. So I like to challenge myself to use a different pattern paper for every layout that I create with the collection. I've already used this pink paper. I haven't used this blue ombre paper before, so I kind of liked the idea of using that one, and I have used this blue one before. So I took a picture with my phone so that I could quickly compare and contrast, and in the end I decided to use this fuchsia pink background. I haven't used it yet, and it was what I was drawn to first, so more often than not I just go with my gut instinct, my favorite, my first impulse. And I haven't used it before. The design on the background with all these mandalas and doilies kind of reminds me of snowflakes. So I decided to tone down the super bright background with white gesso, and I'm scraping it with a palette knife as well as my fingers just to soften up the background. Most of it is going to get covered up with the snowflakes anyway, and so it just adds another layer of interest to add this gesso and then watered down white acrylic paint splashes, and then coming in with my very favorite watercolors. These are pastels by Prima. I thought about adding some darker blue splashes. I did splash just a tiny droplet of them, but I picked up the paint with my fingers. I decided I want to keep the background very light because most of these snowflakes are also very light and bright, and didn't want to distract from them with a darker paint. So here you'll see me placing almost every single snowflake that was die cut. I started with the largest ones. There aren't that many. There were about 8 or so. 4 pink ones, 4 blue ones. Placed them first, and then I'm coming in with the smaller snowflakes, the more intricate ones. Just trying to kind of space them separated so you don't have too many clusters of blue together. You don't have too many pink snowflakes clustered together. It's just a nice balance of sizes and colors of snowflakes. Now it's time to attach everything in place. I just want to keep everything where it is because I like how it looks. So I'm using this liquid glue from American Crafts and just placing a little dab behind the very center of the snowflakes. That way the edges can lift and bend and create dimension and shadows. And I tried to add all of the snowflakes. I did end up with 3 left over. Next, I'm coming in with more white acrylic paint and splashing it on top because it reminds me of falling snow. And then once everything is dried, I am lifting and bending those snowflake edges, again to create texture and dimension. And eventually it will get a little smushed inside of a scrapbook, but the dimension will still hold and you'll still be able to see all of the layers of snowflakes. Here is a photo of Fox and Jane from last winter. So I'm adding it off center, more towards the bottom right, and then going to audition die cuts for placement. I'm just going to create a cluster of embellishments and the title and the journaling all right here. I don't want to cover up much of the snowflakes because that's what I spent the most time on. That's kind of what I'm featuring on this art piece, is all of these snowflakes. So I am picking and pulling die cuts and tags and journaling cards that match these pinks and blues. The title is going to be Burr. I wanted to use just the foam thickers, but there weren't any R's in this colorway, so I'm grabbing the puffy stickers and the puffy phrase stickers and grabbing any of the R's that I could find. I machine stitched it onto that dark blue tab, and that helps the title stand out. And I'm writing my journaling also with the dark blue pen, and it coordinates with the jacket that my son is wearing. It's dark blue, so it all ties together, all of these colors. I remembered to stamp the date, go me, so I'm stamping it right there, although it didn't stamp all the way, so I'm just using the pen to finish up those numbers. Here's the finished layout. I hope you are inspired to create something similar using my cut file, my Snowflakes background cut file, and Go the Scenic Route collection, which isn't winter themed, but by picking and choosing colors, you get that vibe. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you again in my next video.